Hello, it's Wednesday, July 16th, and here's an update on the hungry strike that I'm on, plus some information about why I started this hungry strike, as well as an update on some recent news with regard to the 2026 House elections. So first of all, I lost another pound. Actually, I'd gone down by 2, but came back up by 1, so I only lost 1 pound. So now there's 2 gold stars up on the sign. One for the pound lost last week, and one for this week. And as I started last week talking about states, 1 pound, 1 state, in the reverse order of how difficult they're going to be to get Congress people elected to the House. So Wyoming was discussed last week, 1 congressperson, heavily Republican. This week it's West Virginia. Yep, West Virginia was the second highest percentage of people voting for President Trump in the 2024 election. West Virginia also happens to be a big reason why I started my hungry strike. So we'll be explaining that. But first, let's go over the Congress people. They have 2 congressmen in West Virginia. One is Ms. Carol Miller. She got 66.4% of the vote last year. By the way, there was 7.4% of the vote went independent. So like I said last week, we have to worry about independent, libertarian, etc. next year. One of the things that's interesting about Ms. Miller is she owns a bison farm. The other congressman is Mr. Riley Moore. He got 70.8% of the vote last year. Both of these congresspeople are very good, and I wouldn't expect them to have a problem getting reelected in 2026. In the senatorial area, one of them, Mr. Jim Justice, was elected last year. The other one, Ms. Shelley Moore Capito, I hope I said that right, was elected in 2020. So that means she's up for re-election in 2026. Now, in 2020, she got over 70% of the vote, with the Libertarian getting less than 3% of the vote. I will also expect Senator Capito to get re-elected next year with no problem. More importantly, with regard to why I got onto the hungry strike, let me introduce Governor Morrisey. He seems to be an excellent person, and here's what Secretary Kennedy said about him recently. Now, Senator Kennedy was visiting West Virginia in order to highlight some changes in the food stamp program that improve the health of the United States. Here you go.
I want to thank Governor Morrisey for his visionary leadership. I got to know Governor Morrisey early in the transition. We were both down in Palm Beach working on the transition in Mar-a-Lago. And there was a lot of talk about getting healthy again. And I'm very happy that he's invited me to be his personal trainer. And I am going to put him on a really rigorous regimen. Raise your hand if you want Governor Morrisey to do a public weigh-in once a month. And then when he's lost 30 pounds, I'm going to come back to the state and do a celebration and a public weigh-in with him. He left me an open door, So
what did Governor Morrisey think about all this? Well, here's him afterwards in a different venue being interviewed about that subject. Notice, seems to be, like I said before, a very good person.
I care passionately about helping protect the health of our individual citizens and setting an example for the country.
Sure.
Just on that front, too, I've talked and joked about the fact that I need to shed a few pounds, and I'm going to try to do my best to lead by example. It's not easy, but I'm going to try to do it because it sets a good example for everyone else and certainly shouldn't be a partisan issue.
What he said was correct. It is very difficult, but I decided to go on this journey of my own to lose 50 pounds. Now let's move on to some of the recent news associated with the 2026 House elections. First, some words from Speaker Johnson.
The House and Senate Republicans working together seamlessly as a team. That's a real innovation. That hasn't happened very often in history. We know that that's important because the margins are so small. So we stay unified. We go into this midterm election. We can grow the majority in the House and the Senate. And my focus is the House, of course. Now, there's only 2 times in the last 90 years that a sitting president has picked up seats for his party in that first 2-year cycle after he's elected. A lot of reasons for that. But Donald J. Trump is going to make history in this way, and we are as well.
Let's move on to Texas. where Governor Abbott has put on the agenda for a special session of the state legislature a discussion about redistricting the state of Texas with regard to congressional districts. Here's what President Trump said about it.
More seats do you want the Republicans to draw?
5.
And then what if California, New York, Illinois, and other blue states?
Yeah, well, that's
decide to do
okay
this?
too, but 5. I think we get 5. And there could be some other states. We're going to get another 3 or 4 or 5 in addition. Texas would be the biggest one, and
So
that'll be 5.
are you calling then for a complete redrawing of the congressional map ahead of next
No,
year?
just a very simple redrawing. We pick up 5 seats.
But where
But we
is
have a couple of other states where we'll pick up seats also.
President Trump is all in on a Texas Republican plan to redistrict the state.
Some of the people involved with this who are supportive of the redistricting say that 2 seats might be the gain that occurs in Texas. Now you've seen one of the reasons why I started my hungry strike, and as Governor Morrisey said, this is very hard. Looking forward to talking to you next week. Please like and subscribe.